One of the most diverse talents to emerge during the 1970s was Patrice Rushen, who first emerged as a jazz pianist, recording 3 post-bop jazz funk albums for the Prestige label, before switching to vocal soul funk in the latter part of the decade, releasing a string of albums on Elektra starting in 1978. And from the second of those releases, the 1979 album Pizzazz, the track Let the Music Take Me. All right, we've basically so far we've got this stately progression in C major, dun, C, and then with the sprinkling of like elements that we're going to be hearing develop a lot more, horn, bass, and such. Now I just love that change because we went from C as we were hearing to like bomb F. Yeah, it goes to like F, B flat, D sharp, G. Yeah. All right, here the thin synthesizers that are just murmuring out. I'm hearing them in this channel while the bass is front and center and the horns are kind of like coming at me from the right, it seems. Part of what makes this so compelling is the way the tonic shifts from it darts around this rather angular frame while the vocals remain in the same center. It's and the way that her and the backing singers are emphasizing like high notes over like the really low tonic of F, and then the tonic like darts up and such underneath them. Like the bass goes up while the vocals come like down from like a real high place. Yeah, they're singing dance, da, 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 da. They're singing high C over a tonic of F, like C being the fifth in F, but they're like taking it up like an octave or two. The song just opens up into new horizons when it goes into this section, the chords it throws in and everything, and like the sustained vocal notes that are so different from the type of singing that we were hearing early on. We were hearing really close cadence harmonies, like high octave. Now we're hearing like mid-range, sustained. It's beautiful. Hearing that little guitar figure coming out of here, like interacting with the bass that's like much thicker kind of across the range. About to hear some like keyboard soloing going on here. They don't list her arsenal, but they say electric piano, lead vocals, percussion, synthesizer solo on this track by Patrice Rushen, and down here, yeah, producer arranged by horns, strings, vocals, backing vocals, executive producer hand claps. Yeah, she really heads quite a production here with a lot of other players. They don't list the exact make or model of the synth that she's playing though on Discogs. It's a real thin tone. It's quite getting quite active. She's hitting a lot of notes here, playing around, moving around. One could maybe speculate that maybe a thicker tone would have filled up the space more, but I think the whole point was to not take attention away from the rhythmic component, that bass. That remains. They didn't want to disrupt that. They wanted to keep the bass beat and the rhythmic component and such front and center, and just have a little bit of a little bit of soloing that you have to kind of listen for. Amazing how everything is like so staccato. They know, and yet so slick. It's like each player knows where to. The notes are so choice, so economical, and yet each player knows where to fit them in between and around and the lines of the bass. It's like the horns are being very mindful of the bass and just kind of fitting like a note in here, a note in there, and the keyboard's doing the same thing. The guitarist was doing it too. I'm hearing two sounds here. I'm hearing that electric piano, and I'm also hearing some. I like making that kind of central keyboard sound. I'm hearing that some wah, 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 still, like on the synthesizer, just low in the mix. She really knows how to move around in these solos. That is such a far chord, like sweep right there. It's like we just went from a E flat to G, yeah, E flat. Bum, bum, bum. B. Yeah, go, yeah, B flat, G minor, B, B flat, G minor, E flat, C, G. Knowing like chords and where they are and how they the kind of shapes they make, because I view chordal progressions in terms of shapes, like sonic shapes. And when you throw in like these very far flats and sharps that you haven't heard elsewhere in the song, because in other parts of the song we're hearing like F and D form the far reaches of a song that was primarily, at least initially, built in C. And then for them to then throw like E flat, that's a strange chord to be throwing into a song that, like, you know, was primarily based in the key centers that I was just mentioning. One of those grooves that could just like go on, and you can tell that the players just don't want to stop. They don't want to let up. They can just keep on. And as you can tell, they just kept playing on, and eventually the producer, you know, they decide, oh, we're going to cut this at like 6.5 minutes, and so they just faded out. I wonder how much longer it went on, like after the fade out, like what, and how it ultimately broke down, how they ultimately, amazing, a track of amazing consistency, you know, throughout, rhythmic consistency, bass, percussion and such, and yet some amazing left turns thrown in at odd angles and far chords and surprises and very angular juxtapositions of like high harmonies, low bass tonics, a few key centers, you know, key detours thrown in tonally that give it lift at times, give it real far-reaching angularity, and just an amazing all-around composition that just goes to show the craft, the work, the complexity, and the detail and layering that went into albums of this time period in this vein and many others, the 1970s, by Patrice Rushen. The track Let the Music Take Me from her 1979 album Pizzazz, the second of her vocal period, her fifth album overall. The third after her time with playing in the backing band behind French violinist Jean-Luc Ponty. So she had been all over the musical map during this time period, playing in post-bop on Prestige label, playing in the jazz rock fusion vein with Jean-Luc Ponty, and then moving over into this vein, kind of playing music more akin to the likes of like Cheryl Lynn, or Anita Ward for that matter, or like yeah, or the music Stephanie Mills would soon be making. Yeah, or Melvin Moore was doing stuff like this around that time. Although Patrice Rushen, of course, has much more involvement, and because she's more than just a vocalist, she's an arranger, instrumentalist, and such. And so she's heading a real large crew here that also includes Leon Chancler, the drummer, Melvin Webb on congas, backing vocals by Josie James, Lynn Davis, Roy Galloway, guitar by Marlo, Henderson, and Paul Jackson Jr. Yeah, they listed guitar, but the bassist, Paul Jackson Jr., yeah, ubiquitous. We've heard him on many things from this period. Yeah, written by Sheree Brown. Is that Patrice Rushen? She was the co-writer. It's strange how the credits go on Discogs. It's like anything else to mention down at the bottom. We've got a big string section, but not really heard on this. Trumpet, flugelhorn, Oscar Brashear, Raymond Lee Brown. Okay. And so there you have it. Patrice Rushen, Let the Music Take Me. Amazing soul funk workout, proving that she's every bit as capable of a vocalist as she is as a keyboardist. For more rubies and sapphires from the catalog of Patrice Rushen, see the directory, well, for her vocal album starting in 1978 with the release of the album Patrice, up through the 1987 album Watch Out. See the directory of albums by American soul artists linked below. And for her first 3 albums on Prestige, Prelusion, Before the Dawn, and Shout It Out, see the directory of albums by American jazz funk artists, also linked below. And like and subscribe, follow me on social media, hit the bell, and leave a comment on any point you would like to add to this video, anything that stood out to you, or points of interest that you would like to elaborate on. And until next time, this is Zaragon, the world's most ear travel trimaximalist, signing off.